All right, joining us ringside, it's Bryan Hayes. And Bryan, great to see you. You know, the early talk in this series was that those Sens young stars, your Brady Tkachuks, your Tim Stützles, your Jake Sandersons, that maybe the moment was a little too big for them after being down 3-0 in this series. But it appears, Bryan, that the pesky Sens are back. What stood out to you from that young group in game number 5?
Well, quite simply, they outperformed, the veteran, seasoned Maple Leafs tonight, and their core players on Ottawa were better and more effective tonight than the core players on the Maple Leafs, and that is very significant considering where we were just a week ago, where you could see it. I was in the building for Game 1, and that was the outlier here, Jay. The Game 1 was a very different experience for both teams, and the Leafs really took off, and they kind of ran away, and it was an electric atmosphere. And here in Ottawa, you could see it. They weren't ready for prime time. They just were not quite prepared for that atmosphere and that level of intensity. But games 2 through 5, including tonight, have been very similar. Very tight checking, not a lot of opportunities out there. And tonight, it was Shabbat, it was Cousins, it was Stützle, it was Tkachuk that get on the game sheet. They all find ways to score, and I thought they played really well tonight. I think what sticks out is the core pieces, again, look as if they've arrived, including Linus Ullmark, who clearly had his best game tonight. I thought Jake Sanderson was unbelievable in every single facet of the game. He was outstanding. Obviously, he's coming off that OT winner in Game 4. So you're looking at a situation here where early on in this series, Ottawa clearly had the jitters. They clearly were not prepared for what this moment was going to look like. Now they're prepared. Now they're in the series, and I think they can smell blood because they're as aware of the history of the Maple Leafs as everyone else. As much as the Leafs are going to get asked that question over the next 2 days, Ottawa is as well. And I think Ottawa's looking at this thinking, we're going back to our building. That place is going to explode on Thursday night, and they might have the Leafs on the ropes even though they're down 3-2 in the series.
Bryan Hayes, the most concerning thing about the Toronto Maple Leafs performance in Game 5, in your opinion, was what?
They squandered another opportunity to change the reputation that they have earned over 9 years, Jay. Right now they're 1-13, the core 4 in elimination games. You have a chance to knock out your opponent. They are 1-13 since 2018. The lights were bright tonight. They're at home. This building was ready to pop in the first period, and they just couldn't get it done. And I think there's a pecking order here, and you got to start at the top, and that's the captain. That's Austin Matthews. He scored 2 goals in his last 15 playoff games, and he checks well. He wins faceoffs. He penalty kills well. That's to be expected. But you're the best goal scorer in the world. You've got to score. You've got to be an absolute beast. Wave after wave after wave, and it simply wasn't there for Matthews. He had his worst game of the series tonight. Mitch Marner had his worst game of the series tonight. If anything, they were on the wrong side of it. That first goal, Matthews loses the draw. Marner couldn't break through a Giroux check. It's 1-0. The 2-0 goal, the Cousins goal, shorthanded. Austin Matthews with a completely inexcusable pass. And you look at that power play, the special teams, which was a huge boost for the Leafs through the first couple of games. The Maple Leafs are now 0 for their last 7, and they've given up 2 shorthanded goals. So it's completely unacceptable for a veteran team in the driver's seat to perform the way you performed tonight. They're lucky because it's still 3-2, right? You go back to Ottawa, you still have an opportunity, but that's what this whole series is about, Jay, changing the reputation of the core 4. It's not about Berube, it's not about Stolars, it's not about Tanev or Carlo or Ekman-Larsson. It's about Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. They weren't good enough tonight. Best players on Ottawa outperform the best players on Toronto. That shouldn't happen, especially in a moment like this, but it's happened a lot over 9 years. Leaf fans are not necessarily shocked because we've seen it so much. They have to be way better on Thursday night.
It is going to be a very interesting day of radio for Bryan Hayes on Wednesday. On Thursday, the Sens can become just the 11th NHL team in history, just the 11th team in history to force a Game 7 after being down 3-0 in a best-of-7 series. Bryan Hayes, terrific stuff. Thanks for this.